Sean of the Infinite Audiovisual. I'm here today to talk about digital signage. So digital signage, there's a lot of different types of digital signage, and it's becoming more and more common. You look at Times Square, it's just a huge environment and audiovisual experience filled with digital signage. And you're seeing that in Las Vegas and a lot of other areas. And that's just on a large scale, right? Now, digital signage is around us all the time, and you'll see it more and more commonly, into the future. Some examples of digital signage could be advertising. So advertising includes like maybe menu boards at, a restaurant, or maybe it's, you're walking through the mall and you see, there's pillars now that are just displays. They're changing with different stores, and they're showing you, different, advertisements to try and lure you into the stores in the mall. That's examples of advertising in digital signage. And, other uses of digital signage include informational. So, just like at the airport, as an example, you're going into the airport, and as you're walking into the airport, you're trying to figure out what terminal am I going to fly out to, Los Angeles, and you can find that through the information on the digital signs. Also, when you leave the airport, you're looking at, where's my baggage, and another use case of digital signage in the airport. And some of the other things we use digital signage for include wayfinding. So interactive digital signage, you may be, again, at the mall, right? And you see a big display that is actually a touchscreen, and you can, identify, the store that you want to find and where it's at in relation to where you're standing in the mall. So that's some other digital signage. We use digital signage for conference rooms. It's something that can be used, outside of the conference room to determine whether the room is available or if it's occupied. And in offices, digital signage might be used in the reception area to maybe showcase some customer logos or some maybe employee of the month, and those types of things. So there's a lot of different use cases for digital signage. Infinite Audiovisual can help determine what are the right displays, for the different use cases. And I'll, give you some examples that, there's a big difference between commercial and consumer grade displays, right? You have the display you can buy at Best Buy as a consumer display, and, it may only have a 1-year warranty and only be warranted for use in your house, a few hours a day. Whereas a commercial display for digital signage they are graded and sold for different use cases, like the ones at the airport I mentioned. Those are warranted for 24/7 usage, and they pretty much never turn off, and they're built to sustain that amount of usage. Conference room displays may not be 24/7 displays, but they're built to be able to use 8-10 hours a day, as an example. And those are things that a lot of people and procurement departments don't really realize, that the big difference between commercial and consumer grade displays. The displays for digital signage should be, designed appropriately, and you want to make sure that they're warranted appropriately for the use case. And it's very important because, in instances where you might have a display that has got an issue with the pixelation or the color, and you've reached out to the manufacturer to replace this expensive display, and they ask you, what is it being used for? And you say, oh, well, I'm using it, for a video wall or digital signage that's on, almost 24/7. Well, if that display was not designed for that use, they may say, sorry, you've really used this in a way that it's not, not appropriate for the type of display, and that's why, you've had the issue, and you're gonna have to purchase a new display. Whereas if you work through Infinite Audiovisual, determine the correct display for your digital signage, we can help you make sure that you're procuring the right equipment. And if there is an issue with it, the service company or the manufacturer will send out a technician to replace the display or fix the component in the display because it is under warranty. So that's important. Other things to consider, with digital signage is the placement and the experience of the digital signage. We at Infinite Audiovisual, we have a lot of experience, helping design audiovisual experiences, and digital signage being at the right height is important. If it's, something that you have to constantly look up at, you may have a bunch of users with sore necks, as an example. So making sure that things are, designed appropriately and aesthetically pleasing. We work with architectural firms and interior designers to make sure that the displays are, placed appropriately through an office or a retail environment. And those are just some of the things that, are good to consider when considering a purchase for digital signage.